Good morning. Slept slightly better last night, or if not better, more. And the cough, well, throughout the night it was a much drier cough. I was coughing and hacking and spluttering, but it wasn't coughing anything up and nothing was rattling. This morning it got rattly again, and coughing up some stuff and it's sniffly again. So I'm taking that on the whole as an improvement. I'm getting slowly better. As you might be able to hear, it's raining. It's been raining for hours. I haven't checked the forecast, but I suspect it will rain throughout the day. On the agenda, 2 house inspections, or apartment inspections. Flat, I guess, is the appropriate term. Actually, there's a thought. Do Americans even use the term flat? I don't know if I've ever heard them say so. You know, apartments and condominiums and all these other words, but do Americans use the word flat? I've never had an American question me on the word. They're aware of it, probably because of, I don't know, UK TV or movies or something. It's a very common word over there as well. Might be one of the only things the American audience are internationally aware about in a way that isn't just undercut with a sort of river of racism. Like the old, dingo ate my baby. You know that joke, That quote comes from a movie that was made based on a true story. So you're basically just making fun of a woman who lost her infant child to a suspected wild animal attack. It's hilarious, isn't it? Dingo ate my baby. Ha ha! It's funny because dead infants. Yeah, I'm in a mood this morning. I'm in a grouchy, dark mood. Can you tell? I'm going to go get some breakfast and see if that improves things. And, I don't know, then we'll do something else. Morning. I should probably go without saying that the sunrise I hoped to catch this morning, not so much. My mood remains unimproved by breakfast. Like the Hungry Jacks, got one of those spicy chicken burgers, because that was one of the last things I remember actually enjoying eating. As we discussed in yesterday's video, I'm having a bit of a food issue happening at the moment, all tied into the autism stuff. I'm not going to re-explain it now, of course. Just watch the previous video if you haven't. And it was fine. I still felt a bit resentful of it. Also, the Hungry Jack's coffee machine was broken down, so I haven't had coffee. I had an apple juice instead. So, you know, sugars and vitamins and stuff. I guess. I don't know. I'm not, like, burning for coffee. I keep my coffee intake relatively low, even before being homeless. And when I say low, I mean low. I mean 1 to 3 coffees a day. Very atypical of me to have anything more than that. Usually it's just the one in the morning. So, I've got the full day ahead of me. I might just park somewhere and do what I did yesterday, just vague out for the day. Feeling very low energy still. It's a bit worrying, because usually when the energy starts to dip consistently like this, and I start having trouble with words, it can be an early flag of a depressive episode coming. Right now, the mood feels fine. Energy levels aren't concerning. It's just, you know, something to keep an eye on. This would be a beautiful, cool, rainy day to spend snuggled up watching movies or something, if I had somewhere to live. Right, so I do have the 2 inspections. They're in the afternoon. So, yeah, I think first port of call is maybe go to a supermarket see about those cheese and bacon rolls and snack on those during the day, perhaps. Probably get some coffee while I'm there, actually. Some of that iced coffee, so from the fridge stuff. And then, yeah, go park by the lake again, I guess. Nobody seems to bother me when I'm down there, even if I'm parked there all day. Like I spent literally 8 hours just parked there yesterday, sitting in my car. Bit of a mistake in the end of the day. My knee started to hurt quite badly because I was sitting in this position all day long, which is unwise. Even when I'm a homebody sitting at my desk all day, I make sure to get up every now and again and have a stretch and wander around and maybe lay down instead, stuff like that. But well, that was very nearly quite embarrassing. Went into the store, made a beeline for where the ham and cheese rolls usually are, and there weren't any. So I started to get a little anxious because, worrying about another one of my safe foods disappearing on me after last night's little shutdown, which wasn't on video at the end of yesterday's video. You read about that. So yeah, everything's just starting to tighten up. I did a lap of the store, got a couple other things, cycled back to the bread section, and they'd put them out. They hadn't disappeared, they just hadn't put them out yet for whatever reason. But then they didn't look right. It said, had to write the label on it, cheese and bacon, and I wish I got a video on this so I could show you what I'm talking about, but they looked like they were just cheese. Like I couldn't see any bacon on them at all. It was just a roll with melted cheese on top. So I started to panic again. Oh crap, they do still have them, but they've changed how they make them. But one of the ones at the back of the stack that they put on there was still made the proper way, with actual bacon on the cheese and bacon rolls. So I don't know whether just one batch just got badly made and nobody bothered to give a fuck and put them on the shelf anyway, or they have changed them and the one I got from the rear of the stack is one of the last ones made properly. I don't know. I guess I'll find out some point in the future when I go to buy them again. But for at least now, I have a pack of 6 of those cheese and bacon rolls, which will at least keep me fed today. And that'll be snack time in the afternoon, and that'll be dinner. But yeah, the rumblings on the edge of an autistic shutdown or some reaction while I was wandering in the shopping centre was unpleasant. It's always severely embarrassing when that happens in public, because nobody around you is going to understand, and you can't explain it to them at that point. Doesn't feel safe. Right, so let's go find a nice parking spot near the lake, I guess.
Turn left, then you will arrive at your destination.
Man, it is dreary out there. And just mud puddles forming everywhere in the little grass field in front of me. The birds are loving it, because one thing that happens when it rains this heavily is all the little critters that like to live just under the ground, worms amongst them, come up to the surface so that they don't drown. And yeah, the birds go nuts. There are so many. Actually, I don't know what these little birds are. I've always been distracted by the swans, but the iPhone doesn't want to focus on the birds. It's determined to get those raindrops, which is often the shot I want. There we go. Nope. Come on, just stop. Alright, forget it. I'm not rolling down the window and getting It's rain in the car just to get a picture of those birds. I need to find out what they are though. I don't recognise them. Anyway, didn't get my morning coffee, so got a replacement while I was at the supermarket. This is Dare. I've had plenty of these before in various flavour profiles, I suppose. I guess they're all coffee, but they're all, you know. This one's supposedly intense espresso. I'm not entirely sure how they can market it as an espresso. It's clearly got milk in it, which makes it anything but. Pasteurized coffee. Oh wait, this one says coffee flavored milk. How much actual coffee does it have in it? Has fresh milk, coffee powder. Not even made with espresso. How can they call it espresso when it's not even made with espresso? It's got powdered coffee in it. 1.2% powdered coffee. Robusta, Arabica. Got colour in there, flavours, sweeteners. Why do you need colour? Probably because there's not as much coffee in here as would ordinarily make that brown colour. It'd be very, very pale otherwise, I suppose. And just look like dirty milk. Whatever, so long as it tastes good and has a little coffee buzz. See how much caffeine it has in it? 260 milligrams of coffee, 52 milligrams per 100. I think that's about the same as just a regular cup of coffee. And sure enough, it does taste slightly more intense than the regular Dare does. Okay, sure. Intense espresso. It's not espresso. It's not made with espresso. It's just... I'm really not sure how they managed to get away with labeling it that, but... it definitely does have a stronger coffee taste than the regular version of this, the non-intense version. So, fine. Fine. At least I have my morning coffee. Sure, it's not the flat white I usually get, and it's cold, but it's close enough. I could convince my brain this is part of the normal routine, because that's what the coffee is about for me, for a large part. Again, I don't drink tons of coffee, so it's not about shoveling the caffeine in so I can function like some people, you know, have their coffee addictions. And I can get a little bit snobby about coffee, but not habitually, so I'm fine with just, you know, average, regular coffee. I don't, you know, get pissy about it. But mostly it's about the routine. And little routines like that are, again, in my case, part of the autistic processing. Things I can control, things that I have an expectation of, that will deliver on an expectation on, reliably. There is a routine, there is a plan, there is a structure. And my brain is happiest when those things are going on. So little routines, little rituals, little habits, like the morning coffee, all fall into that. And when they don't happen, like it doesn't send me into a spiral instantly if I don't have my coffee in the morning, but the day does feel a little bit off. And you know, it's one little brick, and if that little brick is missing, fine. But if more bricks are missing along the way, you know, it's part of the structure. So you want as much of that structure there as possible, and no single point of failure. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? I'm a little bit vague today, so I'm trying to think out the metaphor. But you know what I mean, right? It's part of an overall supporting structure of a routine of a day. And I just like having it, even if it's a non-standard coffee. Plus, coffee is just kind of a pleasant food experience. Tedious day update. Sat in the car park by the lake for ages. Moved into the back of the van for a few more hours. Hit the road. Currently sitting in suburbia for the last hour or so, just waiting for the time for the inspection for the first place, which is about to happen. I'll let you know about the place in a tick, I guess. Well, frankly, that place was a little bit shit. It was in a very roughly maintained block of apartments. Lots of disrepair outside, near the clotheslines and the carports and stuff like that. Inside it wasn't too bad. A little bit of patchy here and there, but it's an older place, so whatever. I'm not that picky. But it has been sitting on the market for a while now without anybody being accepted to rent it, so I'm not sure what's up. It's smaller than most of the places I've looked at as well. Again, not too picky about that, considering the size of the places I was in Sydney. But it's not really reflected in the price, the size of it and the condition of it compared to the other places I've been looking at. But again, it's, safe and dry and a place, so it's not as if I'm not going to apply for it. But it failed to charm. It's extremely windy today, by the way. Don't know if you can hear it or you can see the van rocking, being blown about by the wind. Jesus. Anyway, next inspection is in about an hour or so. Plenty of time to drive there, find a park, etc., etc. Okay. So, park just around the corner from where the next inspection is going to be. Got about 40 minutes to kill. The weather is atrocious. I'm not going to sleep well tonight, I can tell. Just this wind. Just the noise of it and constantly rocking the van. It's going to suck. Anyway, let's have a mental health check-in, shall we? I don't know how obvious it is to you through the camera, but the mood today has plummeted. Not just the energy levels, like I think I was talking about this morning. See, this is one of the warning signs. I am not keeping very clear memories of what I'm doing today. Like when I try and think back even a few hours and picture a clear memory of what I was doing when I was parked near the lake, etc. The kind of stuff I was looking at on my phone. I have very vague memories of that. And here's the little fun facts about depression and autism when they sort of team up. When you're under unusual amounts of anxiety or stress, or you're feeling overwhelmed physically or emotionally, or you're having issues with sensory processing, your brain goes into fight or flight mode. It goes into emergency protection mode. And in that mode, as a protective measure against trauma, your brain decides just to not lock in memories real specific like. Because, as you may or may not know, trauma response relies on memory. So the brain has ways of trying to reduce that. And screwing with your memory is one of those. Depression also screws with memory. Autism screws with memory. When you live with bipolar depression long term, it actually does physical damage to parts of your mind or brain responsible for certain kinds of memory, as well as emotional processing and recall, for example. So one of the ways I know that I'm experiencing a depressive episode is when I start noticing that my memory's a bit not doing the thing. And also the language center of my brain shuts down. And I can't words good no more. Hulk used to be best at words. Strongest at words. Me am best grammar man. Humor. The defense mechanism. Yay. That's a good sign, though, that I could still make jokes. But yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble right now, and I've become increasingly aware of that over the last hour or two. So it's time to try and mitigate as best we can. There's not a lot of control I can exert over this situation. There's no trick to suddenly going, uh-oh, I'm about to be really depressed. I better do this thing, or I better meditate, and that'll avoid it. There are tricks I can do to maybe help reduce it, maybe mitigate it, maybe avoid it if I'm really lucky. But there's no magic pill to take. There's no secret. Can you imagine how frustrating it is knowing that depression is coming, that hope is going to be stolen from you, that you won't want to do anything, be around anybody, you won't want to try to help yourself. It is horrifying. It is infuriating. It fills me with a resentment and rage. Because you start personifying it. Because it's not you. That's not who I am. It's a cancer crawling at the edges of your mind. It's a monster. Right now, the goal is to try as hard as I can to stay in any given moment, to not dissociate, because if I let myself give up and crawl into a little dark ball, it makes everything harder what I'm trying to do right now. Like there are more inspections I've got for other places lined up in the next couple of days. Well, tomorrow. I don't think I've got anything for Friday. But again, I'll have to double check. Luckily, I'm making notes in my calendar app so I can remember this shit. But I just trying so hard to push on right now. And it takes so much. So much energy, so much emotive force, so much will. So, that's where I'm at today. I think I spoke that I was feeling some warning signs earlier in the week about increasing anxiety, piling up, about things I just can't control right now. like the stealth camping and the food stuff. I have so little control over those, and just the build-up of that anxiety constantly humming in the background and no way to escape it. And I was worried that that was going to trigger something like this, or exacerbate it at least. And I think that's what's happened. So, I need to set a goal. The goal is make it to the weekend. If I make it to the weekend, I'm allowed to rest because no inspections. And so I just need to make it to Friday afternoon, and then another couple of nights at a caravan park, I think. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling. Let's turn the camera off. Try and center myself for long enough to get through this inspection. And then find somewhere to park for the night. Well, got caught in the rain inspecting that second place. It's quite pleasant. Again, a little on the smaller side compared to some of the other ones I've been looking at. Probably because it's a bit more central. It's perfectly fine for what I need. Nice thick carpets, so good for not bouncing the sound around too much for content purposes. It's tucked away at the back of the block of units, so whatever noise might come from the road that's going by, much reduced. It's perfectly adequate. The agent said very specifically that I should hear back by Friday about this one, which is nice. Everyone else is just kind of vague about it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in a few days, a couple of days, I'll have some excellent news. But between getting caught in the rain and having to mask up for the pleasantries of talking to the agent, making jokes about the weather, I'm done. This is it for today. I'm glad I got those cheese and bacon rolls earlier, because I just can't. I can't go and just no. I got nothing else. So thank you. I can't even see, there's just raindrops all over my glasses. Thank you for all the support, etc. From the PayPal, the Patreon, super chats, likes on the video, and the comments. Everything helps. So maybe tomorrow's going to be an excellent day. I really need tomorrow to be an excellent day. So